All right, so welcome everybody to Blade Bias once again, the podcast. Of course, always me and Ethan as usual.
Hello.
And today we have a very special, fancy guest, Sir Brandon Baker.
No, I don't deserve that kind of intro. Maybe one day we'll get there. Hello,
Maybe
yes,
one day.
my name is Brandon Baker of the Will Hirsch podcast. I make a bunch of balisong things and shoot a whole bunch of footage of a bunch of balisong things, and it's a lot of fun, and we do a lot of cool stuff over there. Thank you to Ethan and Ty for having me on the podcast. This is the first podcast I've done with anybody ever, so I'm very excited.
Let's go.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Making your debut.
Let's go. Yeah, so it's one thing to kind of, like, everyone, as we go through our flipping journey, kind of, like, you learn more about flipping and, like, being on camera, but operating the camera and doing film stuff in general is a completely different ball game than actually just, like, being on camera and, like, being kind of, like, the host of a show, for example. So I wanted to kind of, if you wouldn't mind kind of just explaining, basically, how did this happen? Brandon,
How did this happen? That's an excellent question.
happen?
What did you
Yes.
do and why?
Yeah. How did you just get into... Because I know mine and Ethan's story about how we started making videos that Ethan was literally like, I have an idea. And I was like, I have a camera. Let's try something. And that's just kind of... That's how it went.
No, I mean, yeah, my journey, it's not necessarily like, I wasn't in a situation where I was like born with a silver spoon in my mouth or anything like that. I always had an interest in doing some kind of camera related things. I eventually got a camera, like a professional camera, in like 2015. Before that, I had like a Sony Handycam that I would make little Lego movies on. And I had a YouTube channel back in like 2009 making crazy stuff. I had a gaming YouTube channel for a while. So I had always dipped my feet into it and stuff. And I had a variety of inspirations and all that. But yeah, it eventually got to the point where I graduated high school and had to figure out what I wanted to do. And I just started to kind of explore all my various interests. I worked as a waiter for a long time and worked as a blackjack dealer for the world's largest casino, which is in Oklahoma City of all places. And it was there that I was like, this kind of sucks. And is it fun?
Yep.
What would I rather be doing? And then that's when I really started to dig into the whole filmmaking thing. And ended up, before I had a truly professional camera, my first camera was a Canon T5i, but that's not really, that's a very budget camera. Technically, the first professional camera I bought was a drone, a DJI Mavic Pro in 2017.
Let's go.
Ooh.
And that was like, oh, this is cool. And wow, I can make good videos on this. And then it just kind of evolved from there and ended up leaving my job in pursuit of film internship. And did that for a couple months, and then that's when I really learned, hey, I can actually do this. And then that's when, so I actually met Will, and for people that if you don't know who Will is, Will Hirsch, that's who I run the YouTube channel with, where we cover tons of balisong stuff.
Go subscribe.
And, yeah, subscribe, please. That's what I'm here to do.
100K
Please.
yet?
We're getting there. We are getting close.
It's very close, I think.
Very close.
Yeah, it's like 90, almost 91,000 right now, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it's especially crazy because Will and we technically started making videos. Oh no, it's over 92,000 now, which is great.
Go.
But yeah, but Will and we went to the same elementary school and then went to the same high school, and we graduated together. We were in the same class. And we slowly kind of formed a friendship over that. And so 2012 Brandon and Will would be pretty mind blown that 2022 Brandon and Will have a successful YouTube channel making cool stuff that we genuinely enjoy doing. And it's kind of, slowly becoming more and more of a kind of career path kind of deal. But yeah, Will was living in Atlanta, and I was in a stage of life where I was like, you know what? I need some change. And a thing just fell on my desk. That was great.
Unfortunate.
And then I needed a change, and so I was like, I'm going to drop everything and move to Atlanta. And I moved to Atlanta, and Will had made like 2 balisong videos. This is back in... He had made his first one in 2018, and I'd moved to Atlanta in early 2019. and he was like, "Hey, I had this balisong YouTube videos I made," and by that point I had a Squiddy because Will had gotten me into it. But I didn't have anything more than that, and he was just like, hey, you want to make a video? I'm like, I need camera experience? Sure, because I still barely knew what I was doing with a camera. Still didn't even have a professional camera by that point other than my drone. Almost 3 years to the day later, here we are with almost 100,000 subscribers.
Let's go.
And trying to keep the whole video making thing going. Because as you said, Ty, it is tough. There's a lot that goes into video production that a lot of people don't expect. But I know Will and I doing our channel stuff has, given people a lot to. There's more and more people in the community to kind of attach to and get involved with balisongs with, and I know that Will and I have been that for a lot of people, and so that's where I'm very glad that people like you guys are coming along too, continuing to add to the balisong community because it's really cool.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I kind of, I know me and Ethan wanted to make a balisong video just because, kind of a similar thing. It was like, I need camera experience. Ethan just got a balisong. This is kind of interesting. And then the reason I started making them myself was just because, not all, but there's a few prominent figures in the balisong community that are super creative and like actually putting high effort into their videos, which I was honestly quite surprised by. Especially like you and Will, and then also Addison. Shout out Addison True. Please upload more. We miss you.
I know, right?
But like, yeah, watching your guys' videos was like, wow, there's actually people that are putting in the work to make cool content out of just flipping some knives around. And I was really caught off guard by it. I did not expect it.
Yeah, well, that's been one of the main things I've gravitated toward in terms of seeing people make stuff. Is it's still in this stage where it's not people that have crazy amounts of experience and crazy amounts of video gear like me. Like, I didn't go to school for filmmaking. I just learned as I went. I got an associate's degree, but nothing more than that. Everything else is self-taught. I've had a lot of really cool people teach me the ropes and let me borrow gear and teach me this and teach me that. And that's what I see a lot of within the balisong community is just people just making stuff that they like to make. And even if that's just a video filmed on their phone in a dim bathroom, they're having a good time, and I guess that's all that matters.
Yeah, I love that people are actually just making content. I mean, I always am kind of like, I want people to like push the boundary of new content and try and put a ton of effort in to make something cool. But honestly, also just the fact that people are actually like picking up their phone and committing to actually recording something. There's so many communities where people just don't do anything. They just don't make any content. They just don't do anything. And the balisong community is thankfully not one of them.
Yeah. The one thing I would
is always doing something.
The one thing I would never do is strap a camera to my head. By the way, Ethan, how's your new camera?
Yeah, how's your camera?
Wow, what a transition. Speaking of strapping cameras to your head, yes, I'm now doing, I guess, like, it's not really like Will didn't invent it, but like the Will Hirsch flip style videos where you strap a camera to your head and you...
Oh, no, it's great.
You talk, I guess.
No, I'm excited for you because that camera is a great camera. And yeah, Will, he did it just because he saw people making stuff one-handed. He's like, I need both. I like my hands. I want to use both of those. So yeah, it's great. But you've played with it. Obviously, I know you guys uploaded a video onto the Blade Bias channel featuring it with your awesome new shirts, which are dope.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
They're sick. Very sick.
But we actually just filmed with it today, and the fact that the gimbal on it's great. We were able to do shots that previously we weren't able to do because my hands are not very steady with the camera. Sometimes Resolve would not be able to stabilize something, and having the gimbal just built in.
Oh,
press record and go. It's
video
awesome.
Editor of this video editing stabilization has been the saving grace of like half of my career, but it can only go so far. It only has so much power.
It's so good, but yeah, there is a genuine limit to it, and I feel like having gimbals, I need to get one, but I do not have the money for that right now. So, yeah, having the little pocket, we filmed with it a bunch today. Having that stabilization is it's really sick.
Oh yeah, I don't think we said what it was. It's a DJI Pocket 2 in case anyone's wondering.
True.
Yeah, it's a
That's
great
what it'd be.
camera. Well, and I think even
Oh, I love it.
That kind of goes back to me getting the drone. That stabilization that you get out of a gimbal like that, like I think if I recall, the Ronin, like the DJI Ronin, which is a stabilizer, I think that had come out after the DJI Mavic Pro. And the Mavic Pro is one of the first major drones that had like that inbuilt stabilization. There were other drones with it, but one that was like a consumer level that was small, that you didn't need an entire Pelican case just to get from A to B with. That was one of the big things, and now it's just crazy within the last 5 years how much that technology has come, and being able to now have it in that small of a form factor.
Yeah.
It makes me excited again about, the future of creating the kind of content that we do with it being more and more accessible, because even just 6-7 years ago, a consumer level, you could only get maybe, like whenever I got into it, being able to shoot in 1080p was crazy cool. And that was on the Canon T5i. And that, that was like a $600 camera whenever I got it, not including the lenses or anything like that. So now being able to spend like $300 to $400 and get a camera that's capable of like 4K, sometimes 120 frames per second, stabilized with different attachments that you can get. You can do it all there within the camera, and it's easy to transfer stuff. It's just wild. It's so cool.
So camera equipment progresses very, very quickly, but so does balisongs.
Balisongs?
And we usually,
what are those?
What is a balisong?
What are those?
Be quiet. That was terrible. Why would you?
No, Ethan, I support
Why
you.
would you do that? Why would
Thank you,
do
Brandon.
that? Why would you do that, man? You see how devastated I am? No. So balisongs are always constantly evolving, and the most recent evolution is the Nautilus V2, which I know, Brandon, you are a longtime Nautilus fan, longtime Nautilus user. What do you think about the Nautilus V2?
Well,
I should say, for people who don't know, Nautilus V2, basically they added jimping, changed the aluminum in the handles to 70-75, and those are the two major changes, I believe. I don't think they changed much else, except for they put the engraving on the inside of the channel. Those are two major changes.
Yeah, it's a pretty small upgrade, all things considered. I saw one person say that it technically could be a Nautilus 1.5, and like maybe should be.
Those were our exact words.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, but so my one viewer astutely put, not astutely, maybe questionably put, that I am the resident Nautilus shill within the balisong community. But it's really not that. I've just thankfully avoided a lot of the issues that people have had with the Nautilus, mainly recently. And the Nautilus has a special place in my heart because it was the very first review that I hosted on the Will Hirsch channel. I had been there, or been in the videos before, and had Brandon's Balisong Corner, but the Nautilus was the first video that I took on to fully script and write and edit and host. And so I've had a very long journey with it. Mine went through this crazy complex thing of, originally it was a winter inked black Nautilus, and then I had it custom anodized by a modder who doesn't do modding work anymore to make it the handles red. And then I did that, and then had the Nautilus hand customized by Squid Industries with a custom engraving on it, and then they tuned it, and then replaced the scales on it and stuff, because it was originally white, red, and black, and then it became black scales and white scales with red handles and a black blade. So it's been through a ton of iterations, and so it just has a special place in my heart. And so, yeah, whenever the Nautilus V2 came around, I was honestly a little disappointed. Obviously, it has its signature look. I was kind of hoping they would change up the G10 scales in some way and give those maybe some kind of new look. They seem like they're pretty much the same thing, if not the exact same as the V1. But the jimping is great. I still don't know how to do ladders, and I really need to learn how to do ladders, so...
They are hard.
Having
I can
more
barely
options
do them.
Yeah, I've heard that they're really hard and that they take a long time. I'm still trying to nail the frickin' behind the 8 ball. I'm getting there. I'm getting much better at it.
Getting there.
I still struggle with it. But yeah, so I ordered one.
Really?
I ordered one.
Wow.
So of course, through the channel, we have our Patreon, and our Patreon supporters are incredible. Present company included. And so that kind of gives us a little more leeway to purchase different things. I kind of treat my portion of getting Patreon revenue as like, what kind of balisongs can I buy so that we can make reviews for them? And Will kind of is in a similar headspace. And so it's just one of those ones that it has such a special place to me. And Squid Industries has had QC issues as of late. And of course, those are frustrating. I haven't had any of those. My Nautilus is fantastic still, even after being taken apart entirely by me and retuned by me. After I ripped out the like gallon of Loctite that they put on my pivots, and every screw, including the like the screws at the bottom of the handles. So that was very fun. But no, the 775 is great. They didn't substantially increase the price either. I think it's like $10-ish more than it was originally, I think. But
yeah.
So yeah,
and then the winter
handles.
The winter edition I don't think changed at all from what I've seen. Which is great, because I already think that the winter inked Nautilus is pushing it a little bit with the QC issues that are going on. But that seems to be the same price, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, and so this is relevant to you guys. The one I ordered, so of course my standard one, the handles are red, or the actual metal is red. But I wanted to get one that I could have a little more fun with the handle or the scale colors. So I ordered the black one.
Well, Brendan, what a wild coincidence.
What a wild coincidence.
That one of us
Wow.
in this call is making Nautilus scales that not only are ready for production soon, but also need 2 to 3 beta testers for.
The transitions this episode are insane.
What a wild coincidence.
See, this is why we had that character development at the beginning, because now we're just flying through it. Storytelling. But for real, one of the reasons was I was like, I've wanted to make my own stuff, and I've wanted to get into 3D printing. And then Ty, you've had the scales that you've gotten from various people, and you're making your own. And they look sick, and that was one of the reasons I'm like, I want. Like, I had been wanting to get a new Nautilus anyway, and I considered picking one up soon, so I could start playing with that. And have it actually look the way that I wanted it to look. So that was one of the reasons. And I actually, I almost royally screwed up, because I was like, I should probably get one. And then it was some kind of, I'm not religious, but it was some higher power that shined it down on me. It was like, hey, Brandon, remember when you were thinking about getting the Nautilus V2? And I looked at the time, and it was 1:59 p.m. 1 minute before the sales went live in my my time zone. and I got it. And currently the black ones are sold out. So
You really snagged it. So did you get black on black, or what'd you get?
Yeah, just black on black. Yeah.
Nice.
Black on black. I consider getting another winter one, but I technically have 8 white scales already. And I'm assuming they're going to be compatible. Like, the older scales are going to be compatible with the new one.
It looks exactly the same. I think the jimping is
are.
just in the aluminum, which is good. I don't have to make 2 sets of scales.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for it, but it is a kind of lackluster upgrade. But the jimping is a welcome improvement. The upgrade in aluminum is fine. But it is still a relatively pricey balisong. For what it's worth.
It's the same thing. I thought it would fit better if it was a Nautilus like 1.5, because most of the things I think of like V2 are significant design changes, but just upgrading the aluminum and adding jimping doesn't really seem like a version 2 of the Nautilus. It feels like just some minor improvements.
What do you think would have made it worthy of a V2?
a V2 in my eyes would be if they kind of if they like redesigned the blade or like redid the balance, or
How dare you? That
mostly
blade is amazing.
the blade is beautiful, but that would have warranted a V2. Mostly I think what I would like to see out of a V2 is I think the main problem the Nautiluses have right now is that the channel is so thin that getting tap is, like, most of the people I know with the Nautilus, it has tap or blade rub of some kind. And I feel like either widening the channels by doing some extra, like changing the channwich to a different design or something like that. Something like that would be a V2 Nautilus, or like switching it to Zen pin, something like that would be a V2 Nautilus, but I don't really see this as like a V2. I see it as a 1.5 kind of thing.
It's perhaps
and for me
testament...
personally...
Sorry, go ahead, Ethan.
No. For me personally, change the scales. I would have loved to see different scales, like on the default Nautilus. I know they've done like the carbon fiber Nautilus, which is cool. But the G10 is probably one of the biggest sticking points for me, just because it doesn't feel the best.
I don't like G10.
I'm not a fan of how the Nautilus G10 specifically feels.
Yeah, I've heard,
and maybe I'm in the minority.
Or I guess I technically, well, I don't have actual black scales from, or a full set of black scales from Squid, but people have said that the white scales actually feel a lot smoother than the black scales. I'm feeling them in my hands right now. They don't feel like substantially different. I think they do provide a great amount of grip, which has been one of my favorite things about learning most tricks on the Nautilus. I would say one of the grippiest balisongs I own. But I do agree. It's a little rough. And after it's well used, it can kind of start to feel a little bit better, and you can even like sand it down a little bit. But I agree. A lot of people have described it as like chalky feeling a little bit.
Yeah, which exactly what it is. I have to wash my hands after I flip the normal knot for like 20 minutes.
Same.
Yeah. I guess I got very lucky with mine, especially after the whole tale of the whole modding journey that I went on and everything like that. But mine's still great. I had somebody ask, because I made a post on Instagram about being excited about the Nautilus V2. And somebody's like, "Oh, are you gonna sell your old one?" No. This thing has been on way too many adventures.
That thing belongs in a museum.
Yeah, it is way too personal at this point for me to ever get rid of it. And so that's where I'm hoping that it stays well maintained. Mine doesn't have any major issues with blade rub or anything. There's a few little nicks like within the channel, but that's honestly from whenever I was just screwing with it. And like at one point I flipped it because I had stripped a screw. I flipped it when it was like super loose. And I think that caused some damage to the inside of the channel. But no, like maybe them this being a V2 is maybe a testament to they had a very solid design from the outset, and this was just the most natural progression they could think to do. But they have been making a big push recently with the Nautilus, so I do feel kind of bad for people that have just recently purchased one and now here's the V2. But thankfully, it doesn't look like it's too substantially different to like make somebody feel like, oh god, or kind of like with the Mako V4 to Mako V4.5, like, oh no, I only have the Mako V4 and apparently it breaks.
Exactly what happened. Then, I bought my V4 and then it's like 2 weeks later the 4.5 was released and I'm like, are you kidding me? I was so bad.
Same with your Firefly.
Same with the Firefly, yeah. Firefly V2 was announced.
Speaking of evolution of balisongs, I have now tried the new carbon fiber Kershaw Lucha.
Yes. Anyone who's a consistent Blade Bias viewer, we love you very much.
All 3 episodes.
All 3 episodes. That is something we mentioned in the last episode because that is a very interesting knife. And give us the rundown, Brendan. How is it? Because as of right now, I have not heard anything about it.
Neither have I.
I have no idea how it is.
Yeah, so for clarity's sake, I cannot call it the new carbon fiber Kershaw Lucha. I'm just going to call it the Nucha. It's the Nucha.
The Nucha.
So the Kershaw Nucha. So from henceforth, it's going to be called the Nucha. So the Nucha, when I first saw it, I think I was actually in one of Ethan's streams. where you and the members of your stream were talking about it, and we were talking about like, what the heck? Why is this such a big jump in price over the Lucha? Like, we need more affordable stuff, not more expensive stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that was very valid. And then I talked to other members of the community. I even talked to Will about it. And Will was like, actually, this is like an incredible value because it's titanium and it's carbon fiber, and it's this and it's that and it's good blade steel. So like, actually, this is an incredibly affordable balisong, especially if it's going to be available all the time. And so Will got sent I believe it's just a review unit. Like I don't even think they asked. I think they just sent it to him. My thoughts are, boy, does it feel heavy.
Is it
Like,
heavy? Oh,
it
no.
feels heavy. And I think I'm not super great about being able to determine balance points and everything like that. For those that don't know, I'm certainly not any kind of expert flipper. I'm like on the low end of intermediate. But so I'm not super great about it, but as I was talking to Will about it, he's like, yeah, I think it just kind of feels a little bit blade bias. But
Oh my
Good
god.
joke.
The transitions. Mind
the
blowing.
transitions, look at us go.
Pew, pew, pew. Shooting them out left and right here. Subscribe for more amazing transitions.
There you go. Yeah, see, subscribe. Get it. These guys deserve it. But yeah, so it's 4.9 ounces. And a lot of people, they'll say like, oh, it doesn't matter if it's 4.6 versus 4.9 or 5.1. But it felt heavy. And I can't really say more than that, but that made it a challenge for me to flip. I probably flipped it for maybe 20 to 25 minutes whenever Will and I were filming other videos and stuff. I like lighter balisongs a lot more, but it just feels heavy. And a big problem is that Will, whenever he first got it, he was like, oh, this latch kind of sucks. I don't like this latch at all. And latches on balisongs in general make it difficult to flip. And he tried to remove it, and oh, doggy. Wow, what a journey did he have to go on.
Is it a permanent latch?
It is not a permanent latch. And I can't speak fully to the whole construction of it, but what Will described to me was basically a bunch of aspects of it, like the way that the scales are fit onto the titanium handles. It's a ton of very, very press fit things. And he was like having to like do the equivalent of like getting pliers and trying to like apply as much force as he could to separate the different like the different parts of the handle. And like at one point, like on press fit Zen pin balisongs that are sandwiched, generally you kind of have to you really have to wiggle out the Zen pins sometimes. I had to deal with that with my glider Antarctic. That was a little bit challenging. But he sat there, and with all of his strength, he's a pretty small guy, but he's got it where it counts. And he like really, really struggled to take the knife apart. And I asked him about it afterward, after he had like fully figured it out. He was like, no, this isn't something that I screwed up. I didn't mess up taking this apart. It is just really, really hard to take apart. Or at least his particular unit was. Which, in a world where everybody pretty much unanimously agrees flipping with a latch is not a great time, having a latch that's really, really, really hard to remove, oh boy. So we'll have to see. We'll maybe have to get another unit to try and see if it was just a fluke with that. But he was like, no, like he was pretty positive. Like, this is on a construction level. The latch is very difficult to remove. So
and that's pretty odd, considering the first Lucha was basically, I mean, everyone just mods it. Everyone just changes everything.
I was gonna say maybe Kershaw is just really sick of everyone changing the handles on their stuff. Maybe. They're like, come on, guys, we make good stuff. We don't want you changing it. So they just glued it together, and they're like, they're never gonna get through this.
Suffer.
Yeah,
So,
it was
Brandon.
wild. I recorded a video of Will trying to get it off. and by the time, or get the handles just apart, and by the time he finally did it, it was like, whew, holy crap, what was that? And it took him probably, I want to say 5 to 10 minutes, which for Will, who's taken apart hundreds of balisongs, that's
a long time.
So yeah, we'll see where it goes. I'm not saying like it's bad or anything, but definitely not something that it looks like I would go out of my way to purchase right now. But we'll have to stay tuned for the full review to get the full thoughts.
Ooh.
Which will be a full review.
Oh, nice. I mean, that was one of my fears. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
One last thing. It might lead to a purchase of a BRS replicant from me, because it's pretty much on paper almost the same specifications as a replicant in terms of the weight and the construction and the, like, I think the balance, maybe not the balance, but it has carbon fiber. The regular replicant is a G10. But I'm like, I talked to Will, I'm like, I don't feel like we can properly review this without also having like a relatively standard replicant, because they're so similar and in the same price range with pretty much the same materials. So we'll see where that goes.
But yeah, one of my fears going into the, I guess, like, people getting the Lucha was that, has Kershaw like learned about making horrendously heavy knives that have really weird balances that everyone pretty much unanimously agrees, hey, you gotta majorly mod this if you want to flip it even somewhat, like, well. And hearing that it's still heavy and it still has a weird balance, I'm interested to see if people end up modding it.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I think it is going to be moddable. Will said the big thing that led to it kind of feeling heavy was the thickness of the blade. Like, he showed me some of his other balisongs where it's kind of thick at the base, but then it tapers off. The, like, spine of the blade is thick, like, all the way up. And unfortunately, the blade is one of the main things. Like, that, with the regular Lucha, that's like the one thing people keep. Everything else is generally replaced, but the actual blade is, one thing that still makes it a Lucha in some way. And it is lighter than the previous one. The last one was like 6 ounces, so it is lighter.
Yeah, the last one was heavy.
So this is a whole ounce lighter. But yeah, it just, for my flipping preferences, I don't know. I'll have to spend more time with it. Will seemed to enjoy it, but him and I have very different flipping tastes. Some of his balisongs that he considers a grail, I'm like, it's fine. Yeah,
it's all right.
So, Brandon, regarding your flipping taste, we have very, very similar tastes. So, I'm interested to see the Prisma transitioning into another interesting knife. Machine-wise said he would be willing to engrave me a Prisma that says number 39 V2. Anyone who doesn't know the context, I had a Marin Light that got completely gonked in shipping, and I have never seen it since. It's completely lost. I have no idea what happened. We cannot get any information. So I had number 39, and it's completely lost. So I talked to Machine-wise. He said he would be willing to engrave me a number 39 Prisma. So
Machine-wise is great. He's a treasure to the balisong community. I hope he continues to keep up his great work and continue to expand and doesn't have any crazy controversies or anything like that. I love his stuff. He's great. Him and I talk a lot, like, directly, like, through Instagram. I won't tell. Well, maybe I could tell the full story. I accidentally called him while I was on the can the other day. It was a video chat. I accidentally called him, and he answered, and he thought it was the funniest thing in the world. It was like 11 p.m. for me, so like 8 or 9 p.m. for him. It was so funny, but he's great. I love the stuff he makes.
My Marin Light was the best knife I have ever flipped.
I loved the Marin. We didn't get to keep it because it was a review unit and a prototype, but I loved it, and I've thought about it a ton ever since we had flipped it. So I totally believe you that it is one of your favorite ones because it was great. Mm-hmm. So the Prisma, there's one entity that I can say hates the Prisma, and it's my poor hands.
Oh,
because
really?
I'm one of the very few people that will ever have a live blade machine-wise Prisma. And other live blades that I have been significantly dulled. Like you couldn't really cut somebody with it if you tried. But this, because they put so much work into mine and the blade was so beautiful, I'm like, I don't have the heart to dull this. And I haven't. And it's still razor sharp. And my hands have not been appreciative of my subpar flipping skills paired with a very sharp knife. But I love it. It has so recently. This is a new development. We had done our full review, which is actually one of our best performing reviews and one of my favorite reviews we've done, but of the Machine-wise Seraph, and that is Will has said that's the best balisong in his opinion.
Yeah,
is the Machine-wise Seraph. And we made that review, and I loved the Seraph. The sound of it was amazing. The handles were a little boxy for my taste, but the sound of it alone was just absolute legendary sound. And so we had done that, and then in between that time, I had gotten the Prisma. Or after we had filmed the review, it was like a couple weeks later that I got the Prisma, and Machine-wise sent me 2 for free. I tried to pay him, but he sent me the trainer version and the live blade version. He refused to let me pay him. So I guess full disclosure there. But I went back. Well, so I played with the Prisma for forever. Or forever was like a week. And then I went back to Will's and I flipped the Seraph. And I was like, oh my God, this Seraph sounds way worse. And not worse like it sounds bad. The Prisma just sounds so freaking good. It's insane. So I shouldn't use worse. It's not worse with the Seraph. But it was just, I would say, like, I enjoy the sound like twice as much as the Seraph. And the Seraph, I enjoyed like twice as much as my previous favorite sounding balisong. But it's definitely not just the sound. The feel in the hand is fantastic. It's got a very crack-a-rackin'-esque feel in the hand. The holes provide a great amount of grip. There's a ton of jimping, like a third of the way up the handles, which is fantastic. So sick. It technically has adjustable-ish weight with some screws at the bottom. It affected the sound, so I didn't. The screws are still in mine.
Can't have that.
Yeah, the trainer versus the live blade, they both have a very similar weight, pretty much the same balance. So we did a great job with that. The trainer has just a very slight. It's not a ring, but it's more just a very slight ding to it. Very slight versus the live blade, which is just a very, very solid clack. I wonder if real quick, I want to see if this will come through, because I've talked about it so much. I don't feel like I can not compare it. So let me see if I can get this to come through. What I'm about to show the sound of is my Nautilus. So we'll see if this comes through. It'll at least come through on my recording. Yeah. Or it should come through on my recording. So that's the Nautilus, and then this is the Prisma live blade. And it's got this very, very deep clack, and it's just amazing. But genuinely, like, outside of the sound, it feels great. I think if there were to be one addition, something like kind of like how the Nautilus, the Crackerakin has the line on the sides of the handles. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I feel like that could be a potential addition that Machine-wise could add. But so far, I love it. And if he is able to pump out Prisma trainers, what he had said was roughly 30 a week, and they're supposed to be between $150 and $200. Holy crap, is that a game changer?
Yeah, that is not only a lot of products, but that is a lot of products at an affordable price, which is going to shake things up quite a bit.
And at a great value.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
some of the other companies are going to get a run for their money.
Yeah, I looked at the Squid Industries, like how many. I guess the closest competitor would be like their Crackerakin or their Squid Trainer. And they are releasing more on average, but 30 a week, that's insane. And if he's able to do that, whew.
That's unheard of, at least from when we've entered the balisong community. For a, I guess Machine Wise isn't a one-man show anymore, but for a low-man operation, I guess is the best way to put it. I don't think we've ever seen a small knife maker like that put out that volume of product before.
No.
Yeah.
I guess the 3D printed ones, kind of.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
you could count.
3D printed ones are getting crazy too. Will and I just filmed
They
our
are.
reviews of the Tay Flipper and the zippy cycloid. I got it right. I always call him either Zipper or Zippy, and I never get it right. But the zippy cycloid.
Let's go.
Yeah, 3D printed stuff is getting crazy. Will and I did our unboxing video of various 3D printed Etsy balisongs, and that didn't go great. There was some cool stuff, but not anything that was objectively like, oh wow, this is a fantastic flipper. Holy crap!
Yeah,
the Tay Flipper and both the Zipper and the Cycloid. It's crazy.
Yeah,
So
I've just
cool.
gotten to try the Tay Flipper, and I freaking love it. I think it's great.
Very good. That's what we recorded today. We recorded the Tay Flipper review. So, Brandon, we are in a race
great.
to see whose video comes out first.
Oh, yours is going to come out first, easily. You won already.
You got some time?
You can see
Oh
it's
yeah,
backed
yeah.
up
Well,
a little
yeah.
bit.
So yeah, we have 2 videos in the backlog that are done and ready to upload, and then we're gonna have Blade Show, and then there's gonna be like post Blade Show videos.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then there's going to be the Tay Flipper video. It might move here or there, but the earliest it will be out will be like mid-June. So,
okay.
Unless it's gonna
Mine's
take
gonna be
3
out
weeks.
like next week. So
You got
Okay,
this.
yeah, you did it! Yay! Clap, clap, clap! Yay! Woo!
Yay. Yeah, because I messaged Tay. I was like probably recording because I've been sending him some updates just because he sent me the Tay Flipper for review. So I've been like sending him updates just kind of on like what's going with it and if I'm still like enjoying it and flipping it and stuff. And I told him that I'll probably have it filmed. Last week, I told him I'd probably have the review filmed and started editing by this week. And then he was like, you and Will are in a race to see who makes the first official Tay Flipper review video.
Yeah.
So I am honored to hopefully steal that title from you as
Go
the
for
first
it.
to the punch to make a balisong review.
I am very like I fully support you. Like I'm very much at the standpoint of just, you know, none of this is a competition to me. I'm very grateful to be in the position that Will and I are in, being able to make content, stuff that we like to do with each other, you know, as best friends, and just having such a really, really, really cool community of really, really cool people, getting to talk with various balisong makers. Tay, he messaged me not that long ago, and he was just like, yo, bro, when's the Tay Flipper review? No rush. I'm just really curious, and I want to know because I want to see it. And that was really funny. But being able to have the connection with people that we get to have, you know, I get messages from people all the time, you know, with just saying the nicest things, and it's so cool. I even get people reaching out for like camera tips and, hey, I want to film this and I want to film that. I try to respond to as many people as I can because I'm very much like, I want more people to make cool stuff. And I'm not about to sit on this hill of like, oh, I have to squash the competition and we have to maintain this and maintain that. It's like, no, we need more positivity in the world. My guys, we need more good vibes. And if people want to make cool stuff, let's have them make cool stuff. It's great. It's a great time. So yes, go for it. Be the first.
Let's go.
And if you're not, I'm going to be upset. And you're going to have to answer for your crimes.
I know. Send me to court. Oh. No, I actually love the Tay Flipper. I think the Tay Flipper is super sick, and honestly, one of the points I'm gonna really make in my review is that, you know, it's a 3D printed balisong, so it doesn't feel the most amazing in the hand. It's not the most amazing flipper overall, but it's just fun. And that's like the major reason I love the thing so much, is because every time I flip it, I'm just having fun. And I feel like a lot of people kind of lose that after a while by like trying to just get either the most expensive or like the nicest balisong, and then they just kind of, it's more like, I don't even know. Some people just treat balisongs more of like a status thing, where they buy a shit ton of balisongs and then they just either don't touch them, or they just like, they only focus on being the best flipper, and then they just kind of lose sight of actually having fun.
That's actually been a very interesting journey that I've been on, having gone from just within the last barely even 2 years, going from not really having that many balisongs to now having way too many that I know how to, that I know what to do with. Like I built this little IKEA pegboard to display all my balisongs, and by the time I had built it, I already had more than I could display. And just in the last like 3 or 4 months, that's ballooned to having like twice as many as I could actually display. And it's made me consider, I'm like, do I need to build like some kind of like bulletproof, tamper-proof like balisong vault for me to lock away some of my balisongs for a bit, so I don't have 20 that I can reach for? Because that's been a big thing for the videos that we make. Is, you know, historically I've always been the chaotic one in the videos that pops up and, I don't know, has a gun or a squirt bottle or a flamethrower, or I pop up with 8 versions of me because I'm a clone. Brandon lore is insane. Classic Brandon. But now, like, as I've evolved from just being the guy that pops up and is a beginner flipper to now being like a core host of the channel, you know, my early perspective was like, oh, I'm a beginner, so I can talk about this from a beginner perspective. But it's like, now I really cannot say that I have this, like, you know, very innocent, dare I say, this is a weird word to choose, but this almost virgin look at balisongs, because I have so many now, and I've probably flipped just on my own between my collection and Will's collection and stuff I've tried at Blade Show, stuff I've tried personally at Squid Industries and all that. I probably tried nearly 200 balisongs at this point, and it's made me think about, like, what kind of view do I want to be able to have? And it's made me realize, like, do I need to slow down a bit and not buy as many? But I don't think there's any stopping it, because we run a balisong YouTube channel that we're increasingly putting more and more time into. But
yeah, good luck.
It's been a fascinating journey. But so I completely agree. Back to the tape flipper, it's just fun. Will and I, we have our Bally Shorts score system, the BS score, so you know it's reliable, the BS score. And we gave it a particular score like 2 or 3 months ago, and then we had to refilm a bunch of stuff for the review, and we came back to doing the score for it, and I was like, you know what, I think it deserves this. Actually, I don't think it's this score. I think it deserves one more, like one higher point. And then literally as we were filming, right before we were about to film the review, I was picking up the very zippy balisongs, like the squiddy, and various ones of the various Etsy balisongs, and I was like, Will, I think this deserves an even higher score. It's good.
Damn.
It has great grip.
It is good.
It has good balance. It has a really cool design. And it's great. So yeah, we ended up giving it a much higher score than we originally had given it from the outset, and that was from just spending a lot of time with it. Primarily me, because Tay Flipper, he sent me a custom red and black one. For those that don't know, red and black is my forte. Like, Ty, your thing is teal. Ethan, I believe yours is green, technically?
Yep. We've grown into it at this point.
Yeah. Will's thing is orange. I love that we're slowly building this, like, balisong color preference rainbow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love mine. It's a ton of fun, and it's that kind of stuff that, you know, as you know, even just a few years ago, before any of us were in the balisong community, you know, doing an aluminum channel balisong was like, what the heck is that about? Why would anyone ever do that? And now
people resisted it just as much as 3D.
So, yeah. And now, like, people, I feel like 3D printed stuff and just plastic stuff in general, which was started with Squid Industries really making the plastic stuff. Like, I feel like that's the potential, not the full blown future, but as more young people get involved with the balisong hobby, and, you know, in so many places they're illegal, and having one that even looks roughly like a knife can get you into trouble. Like, having something that's plastic and is obviously a toy and is obviously not a knife, I think has a lot of value, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, when we filmed today, we filmed almost entirely in, like, public spaces. Like, there's like a big garden and then like a park we were in, and I just had the tape flipper the whole time, and I didn't feel at all like somebody was gonna be like, oh my god, is that a knife? Most people just didn't even turn their heads at all, because I mean, having something like you said that's obviously plastic, it's obviously just a dull toy, like, I think that's a super nice thing to have on the table, because then you have options. You have something that looks extremely dangerous and terrifying, like a Fellowship Blades Medusa. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those, Brandon.
Oh, it's insane. That thing is
terrifying
scary.
looking. It's an actual meat
in a
cleaver.
great way, but it's
Oh
terrible.
my
Yeah,
god,
in a
I
good
want one
way.
so bad. They're so sick. But having that, and then on the exact opposite side of the spectrum, having something like a tape flipper, which is literally just has like little cat ears on it. It's like, I like that variety. I like that we have options for stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I think back to Blade Show 2021. I can't think of a single person that had a 3D printed balisong. And that wasn't even a year ago. I don't recall a single person having one.
Yeah.
That would
And
make sense.
I don't even feel like this year there will be a lot of people with 3D printed stuff, but I feel like it's at this stage of, like, if you were to whip one out, people are going to be like, what is that plastic? It's like, that not only plastic, it's 3D printed. They're going to be like, what the heck is that about? And then some people are going to be like, oh, this is destroying the balisong hobby. Why are you doing this? Like, bro, just take a seat. It's fine. I
BRS
promise
fan.
it's fine. No shade.
No shade, no
But
shade.
no,
No,
I'm very
shade.
excited.
Blade Show is spinning back off of that.
Blade Show's coming up.
Is going to be one of the most fun experiences of my life, I think. I think it's going to be insane.
Yeah, it's the most excited I've been for a convention in quite a long time. I've been to a lot of conventions. I'm even staff for a particular convention, and they're a ton of fun. But where I was at in the balisong community in 2021 last year, it's like far and away changed how involved with it I've gotten and just am. And so diving into all that and getting to meet all the people that I've talked to before, even people like Lucas, the CEO of Squid Industries, I don't even see him as like just a person in the community. At this point, he's a friend. Like, he's somebody that you know, I shoot the shit with and talk about this and that with. Got him to be in my April Fool's video where Will and I did a review of the Fidget Mech, which is another incredible 3D printed creation within the balisong community. But yeah, various people like that are just, it's just so cool. And I'm way more involved than I was last year. And then, of course, I'm going to be able to I'll be able to meet you guys, and I'm so excited for you guys to be there and see how cool it is. Because at the end of the day, it's not that crazy of a show. Like, it's not like there's some, like it's huge. It's a massive convention. But it's not like there's, like, crazy events going on. There's like BaliComp and all that. But as conventions go, it's not like there's crazy panels or famous people walking around or some guy cosplaying as a balisong. Maybe this year that would be cool.
That'd be sick
if a guy showed up with that. But no, I'm very excited for you guys. I think you guys have talked about how one of the things you're most excited about is just sitting and hanging out, right?
Yeah.
community, yeah.
Just existing with people.
Yeah, just sitting and just flipping and trying people's stuff and seeing them. Oh my God, that is a huge Pelican case. Okay, yeah, you've obviously spent $14,000 on balisongs. Or it's a guy with a small case with really custom stuff, and you're like, oh, you have 3 balisongs, but you also spent $14,000 on balisongs.
Or it's
No,
the exact opposite. You have 30 balisongs, but you've spent a collective $12.50. These are all
Me.
disgusting.
Yeah.
You get the crustiest balisong ever. But no, I'm just excited to like sit there and just try things. My biggest thing, like, there's so many knives that I don't plan to buy at all. Like, I don't have any interest in. But I just want to try them. Like, I want to know what it feels like. Like, what is the hype with a Chab? What is the hype with some of the Jerry Home knives? Like, I want to try and find out for myself. Because the thing, I've never touched any of them. Never touched a single BRS product. But everyone loves them. So, like, I want to know why. I want to try it.
Yeah. Yeah, your horizons are going to be vastly broadened. What would you guys say if you, and this doesn't have to be the one. I want to know the very first one that pops in your head. What's one you're most excited to try? What's the first
Seraph.
thing that pops in your head? Seraph.
Seraph.
Yeah. Seraph
For
me
both
too.
of you. Both of you.
Probably. And what I really, really, really want to do is direct comparison Seraph and Tsunami, and then the Prisma specifically because I miss my Marin so much and it hurts. Crave Prisma. Please.
I will have both for you to try. I don't know if he's going to have any trainers, but I will have the live blade to show. To
I think he
have you
might.
try.
Let's go.
Yeah, he might.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
I don't quote me on that.
I-
Ethan, why do you want to try the Seraph? What has you excited about the Seraph?
Will's video. Like, I've always...
Yeah.
The Seraph has kind of always been on... Not always, but my two grails have... Whenever people ask me for grails, once I actually got into the balisong hobby and kind of learned about all the creators and all that, I always said Seraph or Stitch Steel Alien. And the Seraph is just the one thing that comes to mind that will actually, like, I'll guaranteed be able to try at Blade Show. My other answer would be a Kraken, but Ty has one of those here, so I've already gotten to try a Kraken.
Yeah,
And that's
what are
pretty
your thoughts
cool.
on the Kraken? Because the Kraken is a pretty solid staple of the balisong community at this point. If
think it's
not one of
great.
the staples of the balisong community.
Oh yeah, it's easily the knife that, like, you say you have a Kraken and everyone's like, okay, it's a good knife. I don't think too many people would disagree that it's like a good solid flipper.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. Ty, being at Ty's house is the first time I've ever been able to, like, actually focus on flipping live blades. And you mentioned your hands were suffering earlier. I did get my first cut, so I'm kind of there
Oh
with
yeah!
you.
Oh dang! Dang! I was
But, yeah, it's
truthfully, I was
awesome.
kind of hoping I was gonna be there for your first balisong cut. I'm a
It
little
wasn't
sad.
even a good one either. Like, I was doing a chaplain, and I somehow cut my ring finger. I don't even know what happened.
Oh, well, thankfully you didn't get a ring of shame. I haven't gotten a ring of
Oh, yeah.
shame, but yeah,
I haven't gotten one yet.
yeah. Chaplains can be a disaster if you accidentally end up with the wrong handle.
Yeah. Live blades are fun, though. I'm kind of trying to decide with the Kraken. Is it fun for me, or do I like it so much because it's a live blade, or do I like it so much because it's a Kraken? Because the Kraken to me kind of seems like if it was just a trainer, I'm more into, like, fun balisongs, and it's just so solid and so good that it's almost like just normal and not super special.
Doesn't have that flair.
Yeah,
Something
because I like
a
to look for, like,
Prisma
flair.
or Seraph has.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
flipping live blades is fun.
Yeah, the
Oh, Brandon,
yes.
this will be, well, you only have a V2 Kraken. You don't have a 2.5, do you?
No, I have a V1.
You have a V1,
Kraken.
don't you?
I have a V1.
Oh,
and that's another big thing that I've considered purchasing
old
at
boomer
Blade
Kraken.
is a proper V2.5.
They-
Especially
Damascus
again,
Kraken?
I was gonna say Damascus Kraken.
That's what I have to figure out, is because I don't feel like I could get another it's a black and red crackerakin. I don't feel like I could just get another one of those. I do like the black dual tone crackerakin.
Oh, I love that.
I'm interested in that, but yeah, it depends on the price. But if I'm getting a crackerakin V2.5, I feel like I have to get something that's at least a little bit unique, because the crackerakin has been such a staple of my collection.
Damascus
but
Kraken.
It's had tuning issues, and I've now finally figured it out. It has undersized bushings. That's the problem with my V1 crackerakin. The bushings are ever so slightly undersized. And so whenever I crank down all the way on mine, it locks up. And that's very annoying. But yeah, so that might be in the list. It depends on what they have there. They always have a ton of stuff, and I know their booth is supposed to be like Squid Industries booth, supposed to be like twice as big as it was the previous year, and it was already big before.
Yeah.
So who knows how much they're going to have, but it seems like they're bringing a lot.
We have all the squid stuff we know so far, then also the Hydro, is that what it's called? And the
Hydro,
swordfish.
swordfish, Damascus krakens, maybe a Blade Show colored kraken. I'm kind of assuming the hub purple. And then they said in the announcement for the Damascus kraken, they said they had a lot of Blade Show exclusives to show off. So I'm assuming there's going to be a lot there.
Yeah, well, I know just in terms of display stuff last year, they had a lot of different display versions of different balisongs that are just like they're very limited runs of different things. But yeah, there's a particular one that strikes me in a particular way. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm not setting any expectations, and since I just got the Nautilus V2. And that was one thing I realized is like there probably maybe would have been a chance to get some kind of like very specific kind of Nautilus if I had waited for Blade Show. But I just kind of wanted to have one by the time Blade Show rolled around.
Yeah.
Brandon, send me your shipping information after the podcast. I have a package for you.
That's ominous.
I'm very.
I
could show up.
Ominous.
I have a pipe bomb.
Ooh, great, dude. Death threats
go.
are my favorite way
I
to start the
love
day.
death threats live on the podcast. That's great.
I'm
It's
just
only
kidding.
episode 3.
I'm just kidding, Brandon.
This was supposed to be like an episode maybe 10 thing.
This is the hero's journey. The hero,
Oh, that's true.
He has some kind of rise, and then he gets put to the test, and that's where
This
he
is the
really
obstacle.
learns how to be a hero. So this is my test. Every time I go to get the mail, I have to prepare for there to be a pipe bomb, and that
Do
will
you or
teach
do
me
you not
how to
open
be
the
a
package?
hero to conquer the villain.
True.
God.
That is the plot of Adventure Time.
Pretty much, yeah.
Basically. So yeah, no, but for real though, since you got a Nautilus V2, I'll send you Nautilus scales because I absolutely love the Nautilus without G10 on it. I think the G10 on the Nautilus causes so many of the problems I don't like with the Nautilus come from the G10. And I didn't realize it until I switched to other scales. I like the balance better. I like the weight better. I like the actual feel in the hand better with different scales. So I want people to try it. I was originally planning to sell them at Blade Show, but it turns out I could get banned for that.
Yes.
So I will not be doing
if you're
that.
selling stuff without a booth, an official booth, that can be a big no-no.
I won't be doing that, so I'll send you a pair, and then maybe I'll have an extra pair on me for if anyone else decides to go. But does Will even have a Nautilus?
Will does not own a
don't think
Nautilus.
so.
No.
Huh.
Every time I have it with me and he flips it, he's like, he loves it. He always forgets. He's like, oh my, the Nautilus is great. Like this is a great balisong. In terms of balisong related things, nothing's official, but I'll also have something to potentially show off in some way in relation to balisongs. So this will be the first official public seed that has been planted by me of what that could potentially grow into. But there's a lot to be excited for there with things that are being made by various people. So
That's pretty swag.
Ooh.
there's my little tease.
That's pretty swag.
The first one's free.
It's on the house. Wow.
But yeah, so I guess
Blade Show's gonna be sick.
we're gonna get to hang out. It's gonna be fantastic.
Hell
Get
yeah.
to shoot the shit. Maybe go kayaking.
Shit the
Get some
shoot.
great food. It's gonna be great. If anybody's interested in going to Blade Show, Atlanta is a great town. Got a really cool community. Lots of really cool stuff to do. Lots of pretty areas. It's the South, so you get that Southern hospitality from people, which is great. Oh, Ethan, how are you enjoying Florida heat? Is that great? Is that fun?
It's not even the heat, it's the humidity. Humidity will kill a motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stuff.
It's not as bad in Georgia, but it's still humid. But we'll be okay.
Like
we'll survive.
We went out rollerblading the other day, and I can rollerblade for hours on end. But by the time we got back, it looked like I probably had jumped in a pool.
Yeah.
Because it was so humid, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't cool off. It was just
that makes it really hard to film reviews in the summer. Generally the summer is one of the best time to film stuff in terms of looks, because you have the trees look great, and generally you have having some kind of sunlight is generally really good. But like we mentioned at the beginning, we never really dug fully into it. We'll have to dive in a potentially a future podcast of like just kind of the nitty gritty of shooting video and editing video and all that kind of stuff. But shooting stuff, it's a lot, especially whenever you're trying to find diverse and interesting locations. Like a lot of the time for Will and I, we essentially have to go on like a pretty crazy hike to get where we need to get, like a hike through the woods, or like, hiking, across some rickety bridge, over a river or something like that. And when it's hot, like it's tough. Especially on me, because camera gear, it's heavy, especially when you have a gimbal and sometimes we have the drone and everything like that. And so we have to take a lot of precautions to make sure that Will doesn't look like he's drenched in sweat the entire time that we're shooting. In one of the reviews, it was of the NRB Koenig, I had a Brandon's Balisong corner in it, and we had to film me flipping, and it was after we had already done a full suite of B-roll of Will. And in that video, I'm so sweaty. I look sweaty, my face is red, but we just rolled with it. But it was something like, it was like 94 degrees that day, shooting in the woods. It was wild. But yeah, so anytime you see any of my videos or Will's videos or Ty's videos or Ethan's videos, just know we put a lot of love and a lot of work into that, because it is definitely not as simple as put a camera on a tripod and press the red button and then get the footage and drop it into a program, put some music over it, and bada bing, bada boom, you're done. Making Balisong videos is hard, because you have to be good at hosting, you have to be good at shooting, you have to be good at speaking, you have to be good at writing, you have to be good at filmmaking, you have to be good, and that's separate from shooting, like filmmaking in general, like those are two pretty different things. And you have to be good at Balisong flipping. That's a lot of things.
It's a lot of things.
I've never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Like, as content production goes, like, a lot of the time it's just, you have to be maybe good at, setting up one shot somewhere, and good at hosting, and then decent at editing and everything. But it's particularly having to be good at Balisong flipping.
Sorry.
And even shooting that is tough, because autofocus doesn't like small, thin objects. And guess what Balisongs are? Small, thin objects. But it's a ton of fun, and it's all worth it, and we love doing it.
What else is a small, thin object? I'm sorry.
No, say it. Commit. Finish it.
I can't do it, Brandon. This is why I'm in rehab.
Wait, rehab for having a small dick?
Brandon, this yeah. Well, I don't want to say it. I have a question.
You said it, not me.
Have you and Will tried Kanto Group oil at all? Because everyone is so obsessed with it. Me and Ethan both absolutely love it. I've never heard it mentioned on either of your videos.
We have, so I can't speak for Will. I have never tried it, and as far as I know, Will has also not tried it. Just because we haven't ever bought it, and it's never been sent to us or anything like that. Our go-to is Super Lube, just because it's cheap.
Yeah.
And it lasts forever. That's the only stuff I use. We used to use KPL, but now Super Lube is our go-to. But I've been seeing a lot of people post about it.
Because I directly, like, I have both Super Lube and Kanto's oil, and I shoot them out back and forth all the time on different knives. And for like a week straight, I was swapping oil like every day to figure out which I liked more. And I don't know what it is, but I am starting to learn that having ridiculously thick oil like Kanto's oil is, it just makes knives sound better, it makes them flip better, and it lasts like just as long as Super Lube does. So I want people to at least experience a super thick oil like that, because Super Lube is relatively thin. All things considered,
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
compared
It
to
is.
something like that, it's a very thin oil.
Wait, is that Super Lube right there?
That's Super Lube.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's a relatively thin oil. And then, like, thin versus thick oil makes a huge difference, and I don't think people really know that. So, I'll have some on me at Blade Show if you wanted to try it at all.
Yeah. Well, so I guess
my
after
Kraken always has Kanto oil in it, so shout out Kanto. Kanto's awesome.
Shout out Kanto.
So
He's got some cool stuff in the works.
After everything you've said, would you say that Kanto Group's oil is pretty? It's pretty
Nice?
Nice.
It's very nice.
It's very nice.
Very nice.
Got him.
Jesus. I call it Kanto Goop because I think that's
Kanto
funny.
Goop.
Yours
That's
doesn't say
actually
nice oil.
fantastic.
Yeah, I call it Kanto Goop.
But no, it looks cool, and
No, it's really nice. And it smells delightful. It smells so good.
smells delightful. Okay. Super
You didn't
Lube
know it
doesn't
was
smell that
scented?
great. I didn't know it was scented. No.
Yeah, he scents it.
No, he has multiple scents. What? I have grape. What do you have? You have
Passion fruit.
Yeah, passion fruit.
What?
It smells. And if you I don't know if you do. Do you do it with your Prisma where you put a little bit of like, or any of your live blades actually, you put a little bit of oil on your blade and like rub it in and it like shines it, polishes it?
I've done that with not the Prisma. So my Prisma, it has a darkened blade, so it doesn't really. It's not like a shiny finish or anything like that. I have done it with it. It doesn't do a ton. It darkens it a little bit, which looks nice. But I don't do it a ton. But I have done it before. But is it particularly good with that?
I do it with my Kraken because I have the shiny Kraken inked blade, and if you put enough on there and it's like a fresh batch, you can actually smell it while you're flipping sometimes.
Oh, that's
so you're
fantastic.
flipping and you get this beautiful, like, very artificial smell, but still, it's a good smelly.
Well, yours
So,
is.
yeah,
I think passion fruit's a little more.
passion fruits. It's pretty.
I don't even
swag.
know how to describe it. Anyway,
But no, it's really nice. And
If there's a bunch
it's
of
just a
different
really
flavors,
cool
I think we gotta
There's
order like
ton.
20 to 30 different kinds. And I think at Blade Show we gotta do some shots, bros.
Let's go. Let's
Do
drink
some
this.
Kanto
Kanto
Group
have
nice little
issues with
shots,
that?
baby.
Kanto literally has had to tell people, please stop drinking the oil because.
Okay, yeah. So disclaimer: don't drink the oil.
Do not
don't drink the oil.
goop.
I will say, when I first smelled it, there was an overwhelming urge to lick it.
Yes.
It was involuntary, and it was terrible.
You'll
it's
come
shot. It
across
smells
more and
good.
more scenarios in your life where your first urge is to, like, suspiciously
mouth.
lick it. So, you never know.
Me when I find a cool rock at the beach.
Brandon when he sees any balisong.
True. Me when I see any balisong.
That's what you're gonna see me at Blade doing is just standing next
Corner.
to Squid Industries booth and just trying to
Just
connect
making
my tongue
direct
to as many.
direct eye contact with Lucas, just like scarfing down a tsunami.
He goes up to every significant, every maker at Blade Show, stares them down, and just slowly puts the knife in his mouth and stands there for a
Just
few minutes.
Stands there.
Oh no!
That's a power move.
Here's what we can do: is to further thicken that plot, which again, character development, because so many people
Yes.
believe that Will and I are in a relationship, which is mostly my fault because I make jokes about it all the time. For people that are curious, no, Will and I are not in a relationship. Will is married to a man. I am straight and am in a relationship with a woman. Who would have thought? Also, I'm not the man that Will is married to. Who'd have thought? But no, so to really build the tension, Will starts at one end of the booth with his tongue licking the balisongs. I start at the other end, and then we slowly come together, closer and closer, while still locking eyes with Lucas. But then all the bystanders are going to think, oh my God, they're about to touch tongues. And then we'll just see where
Lady
that
and
goes.
Tramp that.
Yeah,
Lady and Tramp that shit.
So yeah, anyway, come to
You
Blade
started
Show
the handles, I'll start at the
2022 to
blade.
witness
I
a
will
great
s-
show.
I will sit there behind you with like a giant ass Bluetooth speaker, just playing like fancy Italian music, just waiting for you. I'll just start throwing roses at you.
What's a balisong related thing that could be slowly like slurped up that would like still
Canto
be
Lou?
still connect?
Oil.
Or no,
Oh,
like
I
with the
see.
spaghetti.
Teflon tape. So they were eating Teflon tape. No, what you
the
do
most
is you make a
romantic
plate of
thing.
Teflon tape, and then you just like you squirt some oil and like spaghetti sauce, which would in this turn be like Loctite, and then you just take a fork. You take a bala fork, and then you just start like spinning it up. Brennan, you have to make one of those. You have to
You
make
Loctite.
the not Shap China steel toy and just turn it into a fork and a spoon and have a full dinner set.
Speaking of that, I am very curious to get people's reactions to my stainless china octopus factory toy. For those that don't know, I made a balisong from scratch using actual butter knife handles, butter knives from Walmart, the cheapest ones you can get. I made a balisong 80%-ish by hand in Stitched Steel's workshop. And he helped me with it, and I made it, and it flips. But Blade Show is going to be the first time that a large group of people is going to have the opportunity to try it, because so far a very select few have gotten to touch it. And they're all dead now. Not because I
Yeah,
killed
they
them.
are
It just
deceased.
affected them so strongly.
They're all like, I can't do this anymore.
We're driven mad.
All right, it's been fun. But mostly because it's like they peaked. They flipped the Brandon Baker balisong. And so obviously that's
and there's
such
nothing
a
left to flip after that.
magnificent moment that they have to.
Yeah, why even go on?
Yeah, they just got to bail out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all downhill from there. So doesn't get much better than that. Yeah, Blade Show's in like 2 weeks.
It's crazy.
Honestly, barely a week.
Yeah.
Less than 10 days.
Damn, that's
Ish.
crazy. We still gotta book our Airbnb.
I was just gonna say that.
I
we gotta
would
get on that.
do that soon. I could probably help you guys actually find one. That's actually for some reason in nearly all facets of my life, I end up being the person that makes the vast majority of the travel plans. Whether it's just for me or for a group of like 10 people, I'm usually the one that hunts that stuff down. So if you guys want help with anything,
That would be nice
to.
because we don't know the area at all, so we'd probably want to know just like a good place to stay. a good
Yeah.
area to
Thankfully,
stay
you're
in.
gonna have your car, which will make things
Yes.
much easier.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
I'll
can
have
look
my-
for you guys.
vehicle.
No, we're gonna ride our balisongs like a magic magic carpet.
Yeah, like a broom. Like a witch's
Yeah, that's
broom.
what I
Oh,
meant.
I
a broom.
thought you said
Broomstick.
Magikarp, like Pokemon Magikarp. I'm like, you could ride
Yeah,
a Magikarp, yeah.
Technically, I mean they're flopping around all over the place, but
Which
eventually, if you
I
wanna
guess that
go.
makes it a balisong anyway, because it's just flopping around all the
Exactly.
time.
Real.
pointlessly in
indiscriminately.
the same spot, not going anywhere.
That's how it goes.
Oh, I know we got to wrap up the show, but I just got to bring up. Holy crap, we're so close to Bally Scissors, and I need to know what
Bally
this
Scissors!
is about. I need to reach out to him. Will, I don't think, has ever talked to him. I've never talked to him. I need to officially reach out to him and just be like, yo, my guy, you are a treasure, and I need to know what this is.
Yeah.
Okay, we have
I
to
need
ask
to
the
know.
question because this is going to be a question we ask all our future guests. I think: are the Bally Scissors, in your eyes, a trainer or a live blade?
True.
Did you guys talk about that in a previous podcast?
We did.
Yeah.
You did.
We did.
So yeah, I don't remember what you guys said. I did
Perfect.
watch both podcasts, but I don't remember the specific thing that you guys said.
Perfect. We get your full opinion.
I don't know that I have a full educated opinion, but at
Hey,
first
give it to us anyway.
glance,
That's what the world is like now.
Yeah, at first glance and what I understand of what it is, I am going to say that it is a trainer.
Okay.
Okay. I think that's what I said that, you said that, I think.
Yeah, that's a general consensus.
Yep.
For us. It is a trainer with a live blade version, but even then, if you think of it like doing a chaplain on it, you'd be safe on both sides unless you like purposefully stick your hand inside of the scissors.
Yeah.
So, to me, its default state, that's the thing. That's what I go off of. Its default state is a trainer because the blades are closed. There's no way you can hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Default state.
Oh, there's always a way.
Also, his most recent video, I feel, is like a direct call out because it's pretty much black and red. So how are you going to do that to me? Yeah. But the biggest reason I'd say that it's a trainer is because I hardly know her. But
oh my goodness.
Got him.
Oh my
All right.
goodness.
On that awful note, no.
It was a good episode, boys. Brandon, you are never welcome back here again.
That's fair. After that
You're
travesty of a
sentenced
joke,
to-
I'd say that's fair.
20 hours of community service at least, teaching people how to record properly with their phones. Good luck.
Out of frame footage.
Honestly, I probably put 20 hours of community service into that anyway because I have so many people.
Well,
sending
shit,
me
he
stuff
already
that's
did
like,
it.
Hey, I filmed this thing. Can you take a look at it? And most of the time, it's not like anything like crazy bad or anything like that. But it's just, boy, do I have a lot of tips. But I try to help people as much as I can.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So I guess it's up to you if I've served my sentence or not.
You've served your sentence. Maybe, perhaps, as long as we're planting seeds. Oh, I hate saying that. Maybe we'll have to have you on again and get into more of the nitty gritty on like editing and all that stuff because we kind of didn't do that.
We kind of skipped that part.
Yeah.
No, we had some great goofs, some great conversations.
Oh, yeah.
It was a good time. I had a great time. You guys are great hosts. I'm
for
excited
being
for you
on.
guys to keep doing this. The biggest hump.
What, Ty?
I've had a Hot Pocket sitting in the microwave for an hour and a half.
You sacrificed a Hot Pocket for me?
I did, Brandon. Feel grateful.
You never got that?
No, it's sitting in the microwave still.
Here's the thing about Pockets, though. That thing's probably still warm on the inside.
Honestly, yeah.
There's a very good
Probably.
chance it's still warm on the inside.
Probably. But for real, this was very fun.
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys.
I wanna. Yeah, Blade Show is
Thank
gonna
you.
be a ton of fun to actually like meet because there's been like a ton of things over the past years that I've gotten like involved with, hobby wise and like YouTube wise. But all the people that I like kind of looked up to in the space like of those niches and those hobbies, there was zero chance of me actually like ever meeting them, ever talking to them. But like literally here we are, just like having a just casual conversation. And then Blade Show is gonna be, we're gonna talk about so much stuff. I'm going to take advantage of you and use your camera.
I'm going. Yeah. Okay.
So
but you know what?
let's make a list here. You're gonna send me a pipe bomb. You're gonna take
Yep.
advantage of me.
Correct.
You're gonna force feed nice Kanto Group oil down my throat, which I think is what you
I've
said.
also heard all
Quote.
this. Yep.
Somebody timestamp it in the comments. And then I gaslit your whole podcast right at the end.
True.
That's the recap.
That's the recap, honestly. The title for this video is just gonna be like Blade Bias Podcast Episode 3, Mailing Brandon. Mailing Brandon a pipe bomb? Exclamation point.
Gaslighting?
Parentheses, gaslit.
Yeah.
I
Blade
think that's
Bias,
the quickest
Gaslight
way to get
Edition.
it taken down.
Gaslight edition. No, for real though. For real though, I'll send you a set of Nautilus scales. I take it out of all the colors I have, you would like purple, or maybe
Yes.
maybe I buy some red filament. Maybe.
No, honestly, purple would be lovely. I'd love to have that.
Got you.
That
My
would be
purple
awesome.
is not like a deep purple. It's like a soft lilac.
It looks nice.
It's like I don't even know. It's almost like a pinkish. Very nice
Yeah.
though.
No, yeah,
It's like a light
I think it
purple.
looks great.
Yeah.
I'd be very appreciative of that because that would be really cool. And then
Yeah,
I can
very
shill
sick.
them. It'll be great.
You can. I would much appreciate it because I get paid every 2 weeks, and that week in between, I am poor as shit. So, an order or two of knot scales would buy me dinner. So that'd be sick.
Well, there we go. Feed this man.
There we go. Yeah,
Keep him going.
Feed me.
If you don't buy his scales, you are literally making him starve.
Yes, this is all your fault. No, but for real though, I'm gonna put them officially up for sale soon. I want like 2 or 3 more people to give me their thoughts and opinions, and then I'll put them up for sale and I'll kick them into production.
Oh yeah, and I'll give you as objective and real feedback as I can.
Hell yeah!
I learned early on, like especially in my own creative journey, like there's a certain level of sugarcoating one should do in terms of feedback and all that. Like if it's bad, but for the most part, it's like the best thing that's gonna help somebody is just like, yo, here are the facts, Chief. Let's do it. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out. But no, they look great.
Yeah.
And I know you've troubleshooted them a lot. And made sure specifically that like the sizing was correct and everything like that. So
Yeah.
whether I have to put them on my Nautilus V1 or my V2, like I'll try them out and it'll be great.
Yeah, I really hate when people. The thing I hate the most, especially people do it all the time in the balisong hobby. This is a PSA, real quick. Quick PSA. If you are going to say X knife is bad, please explain why.
Yeah.
Don't just say Mako bad. Just why? Just tell me why. There's no point in saying, hey, don't buy this if you're not going to tell me why not to buy it. Because I can say, hey, don't buy a Chab. If I don't explain why, then my opinion is completely invalid.
Yeah.
But my reasoning is I could say, hey, don't buy a Chab if you like lighter knives because the Chab is big and clunky. That makes sense because that gives you a perspective of like why you shouldn't buy it, if you'll like it or not. Saying just don't buy X knife is completely useless.
Yep.
That's fair, I think.
I completely agree. And I've talked with a variety of people about this. In my opinion, there are shockingly few balisongs that are made by any kind of reputable company that are objectively bad. Like
There's barely any that are like straight up bad knives.
Yeah, and it's all going to be a preference thing. It's all going to be a perspective kind of thing. One balisong, at one point in somebody's life could be considered the best thing they own, and then 5 years later they're like, oh, actually that thing kind of sucked, but I liked it at the time. Mm-hmm. And it's just, we live in such a crazy world that is just filled with so much crazy shit that, like, if somebody likes a thing, let them like the thing. You can, of course, steer them in the right direction of, like, oh, what's a good value and what's this and what's that. But I agree. Just explain why. If you don't like a thing, here's why. I actually just in the Flippy Boys Discord server, which you guys should check out and join because it's a great server.
True.
I've been playing on the Minecraft
Link
server
in the
a lot
description,
too.
I think.
Let's
the
go.
Minecraft server, I forgot about that. Even though it just started, I am terrible.
Yeah, I'm close to
Anyway.
finishing my tower on it. It's great. But no, I got into a conversation with people in there today about the Sphinx Terra, and somebody said essentially like, "Oh, dude, just get a Terra. It's amazing." And I just chimed in. I was just like, I actually don't really enjoy the Terra because it doesn't really have any real kind of grip to it, and it's like, for me, the slipperiest balisong I've ever flipped. It's a great value in terms of like the materials, and the build is cool and it has a cool look and everything like that. But for me, it's just super slippery and no hole pattern or any kind of lines or anything. It's just slippery. So that's where I explained why. And I had people say like, oh no, like it's actually this and it's actually this. It's like, no, you're good. If it works for you, great. Awesome. I'm not saying, oh, it's slippery, don't buy it. I'm just saying for me, given that I'm learning, I found it to be really slippery. We have people that are just, this bad, or don't support this company. They messed up this one thing once, and so therefore this is bad or this is that. And those kinds of people just, they need to mature and they need to figure out their own stuff. And honestly, most of what they say should be taken with a grain of salt. But there are a lot of
Yeah.
people, unfortunately, that are just negative about a bunch of stuff.
I had that experience when I bought my Mako, because I had bought a Mako V4, and I had multiple people who were just like, either just, why did you buy that? There's better options, or that were just like, it's going to break on you. And my answer every single time when people like ask me why I bought it was like, because I wanted to. It looks cool. That's all you need to know. It is my purchase to make. It is my money. I can buy what I want.
Dang it. There's like a core topic that I want to talk to you guys about. And maybe, I'm just going to bring it up. I know this has already gone longer than it's supposed to, but hey, if you're still here, hi, welcome to An Opinion.
Maybe, actually, I just had an idea. Maybe we cut off the official podcast here and we do a little after show.
We could do an after show
if there's a little topic.
Could do that.
Yeah,
doesn't matter to me. Just bringing up ideas.
Would it be a separate video?
Yeah. Play bias after show. Although, what's the point? Let's just do it now.
Just do it.
Screw it.
Just do a big
we can
podcast. I don't think anyone's gonna complain about more.
No one's going to complain
Oh,
about
no.
hearing from Brandon Baker himself.
From Lord Brandon.
Brandon,
himself.
when are you going to make a flipping channel just like Will Hirsch Flips? We want to hear more about your opinion.
Objectively, once I'm not working 60 to 70 hours a week, I'll see what I can do. We'll
You
see.
heard it here first, folks. Someone
I'll
reach
see what
out
I
to
can
Brandon and personally donate him his entire year's salary, and he will make a flipping channel.
Let's go.
I'm just looking for a small. I'd like a small loan of $1 million.
A small loan of $1 million.
While you're at it, do the same to me, please. Thank you.
But no. So here's my thing. I think we may have talked about this before, just amongst ourselves. But it's just a fascinating topic. But it relates back to what was just said about so here's the basis of it. It frustrates me pretty, not intensely, but it just frustrates me when somebody will say, don't buy this balisong, just buy this one. And when that one they suggest is one that is so hard to get, like they only do drops every few months, or sometimes, or it's like a custom made thing, or you can only buy them physically, or, they make maybe 50 of them a year and you can maybe only get them secondhand, and they retail for $150, but secondhand they're $350 to $400. But so my thing, because Will and I, with our BS score system, we've talked a lot about the value of different things. And like figuring out what is the value. And our value thing isn't like, what's the resale value of something? It's just, if you can get it at MSRP, what's the price? What quality of product are you getting for the price you have to pay? And when people will say, don't get, like actually, I know, Ethan, you're very, very excited about your Vortex. Your Vortex V2. And when people are just, no, don't buy this 200 or this X price balisong, just buy a Vortex, or just buy a Koenig, just buy this, just buy that. It's like, Ethan, how long have you been waiting for your Vortex V2?
The Nemesis V2?
I'm sorry.
February.
I screwed up. The Nemesis. You have a Vortex.
No, you're good. I do have
the
a
Nemesis
Vortex,
is
yes.
what you're waiting for.
Waiting since February 24th, I believe.
Yeah.
So like
and of
3
course,
months.
that's a more particular scenario of it's a prototype still being developed and everything like that.
Yeah.
But it's just so frustrating when people, especially when it's people new to the hobby that don't understand, when it's just, no, don't buy this thing from Squid Industries. Just buy this. And it's like some very custom made thing that only does drops every once in a blue moon. And like in terms of the value of something, it's like, if you have to wait 3 to 4 months to get a balisong, especially if you're trying to get into flipping, is it going to be worth that wait? Sure, potentially. Nobody can judge that except for you. But whenever people are just, no, don't buy this thing and get a good balisong that will really get you into the hobby. Now, don't do that. Go seek out this other one where you'll have to watch #balisong sale for like a hawk for a month, or wait 4 months for a drop of this particular product. Or like even, I love Machine-Wise and everything, but currently the Serif is on a waitlist system. And I've seen people say, oh no, don't get it's on the higher end of stuff, but don't get this one, just get a Serif. And that actually happened with Will. Will said that to me. I was like, I've wanted to get, a really high quality one. He's like, oh, just buy Serif. Yeah, just get a Serif. And I'm like, A, that is $600+. And B, like maybe since I have a personal connection with Machine-Wise, I could get one from him without having to go through the wait list. But it's like, it's not that easy. And a lot of people that are very ingrained in the balisong community, I feel like don't really get that. And with the balisong community still growing and everything like that, it's like, I'd rather get a good balisong into somebody's hands right now, even if it's from a company like the One, which has a sketchy history and everything like that. It's like, let's get a good balisong in that person's hand now so that they can really start to see how they feel about flipping versus just get this. And it's like, okay, you're going to be waiting maybe 6 months for that. Sometimes 8 months for some of that stuff or even longer. Or you'll have to physically go to Blade Show to get one. It's like, it's not that simple. So that's my spiel.
A lot of the time,
as somebody observing the community from still relatively fresh eyes, because I've had people say, "Oh, just get this. Oh, just get this. Oh, just get this," and you go to the website and it's sold out. You go to the Instagram and they're like, "Oh yeah, this won't be available for another 5 months, but I'm doing my best," which is just the nature. That's not throwing any shade at any particular maker, because balisongs are tough to make. They take a long time. It's incredible the amount of work that goes into a balisong, and people that think that it's just, oh yeah, you throw some metal into a little box and then you press a button and a beautiful balisong comes out. Boy, is it not that simple at all.
No.
And the material,
if you think it's that simple, go watch the
know-how.
Bally Scissors series.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of my spiel. It's just frustrating when people are just, oh no, this thing is bad, just get this. And it's like, do you realize the process of getting that thing? That's tough. And like, yeah, and that's where it goes back to the whole value proposition of like, yeah, a thing may only cost $250, and this other thing that's available right now may be the same price. And when you compare them apples to apples, not looking at how long it takes to get it, like, yeah, one is definitely a better value potentially. But it's like, if I have to wait 3 to 4 months to get that, that kind of sucks.
By that point, I
that's my
typically
spiel.
have already lost interest. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you've waited however many months you have for your Nemesis. I would have already canceled my pre-order and bought something else. I cannot wait that long once I've already set my mind on getting something.
I can give you an answer for that. It's because I cannot think of another balisong that fits my preferences on paper better than the Nemesis has.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's
I can't
great.
think of
Like, I
another
think that's
titanium
awesome.
speed channel 4.2 ounces that rings and is has a texture on the faces and all this stuff. So that's how I've waited, but I totally understand the opposite of I couldn't wait that long for something, especially a prototype.
Yeah. I'm already struggling to wait for my Prisma because of how bad I want it and how bad it fits my I've genuinely considered just buying a Marin Light. But because
Good luck now.
No, Duck put his. He said I could buy his from him for 300 something, and I was like, I want to do it,
did
but
that.
I can't. But yeah, I just it's when I bought my Mako, the main thing was buy a Vortex. You should have gotten a Vortex. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
I just cannot.
It is interesting hearing this, because I will fully admit, because I love calling myself out, I'm guilty of this, absolutely. When you stream 2-3 times a week for 3 hours of stream and have people coming in saying, what do you recommend and all that, I've definitely said Arctic, Vortex, things that are out of production that you can only get on the secondhand market. But lately I have tried to throw in, there's the Mako if you want it now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I try to do, I think the best way to do it is to tell the person straight up, okay, if you want a balisong now, here's my recommendation. Squid Industries, Mako, something like that. If you want to wait, or if you want to put a little extra work into it, you might have a better experience looking for an Arctic or a Vortex. But if you're not willing to put in that amount of work, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, so no shade at all like especially at you, Ethan, like in terms of waiting for.
Oh no, not at all.
Because like that's a great thing, and you identified like this is something that I really want, and it fits all my needs. It's specifically the scenario of the whole thing that started this conversation of shaming somebody of, oh no, don't get this. Why would you ever want this? Just get this. And that's
what I've tried to avoid my whole time in this hobby.
Yeah. I think of it in like the terms of like, say like food. Like if somebody came up to me and was like, I'm really hungry. Like I'm really hungry and I need something to eat. I'm not going to tell them, oh, well, you could spend, like $5 on this slice of pizza right here. That's going to take 60 seconds to get. But what you could do is spend $3 on a slice of pizza at this place like 5 blocks away, and you're only going to have to wait 2 hours for it. Don't get this.
Yeah,
this piece of pizza is bad, and it's way overpriced. $5 for that slice of pizza? It's like, no, that's not the issue. It's this person's hungry. How can we satiate that hunger? Yes, the other pizza's better and cheaper. Sure, of course. And maybe it's worth waiting for. But right now, if somebody's wanting to get into this thing, here's this thing. Also, and even if it's not the best thing, it'll satiate the hunger,
To use that pizza analogy again, you could buy the first slice of pizza, eat it on your way to get the second slice of pizza.
Yeah, there you go.
And kind of use...
That's kind of... Yeah.
Like,
that's a good point.
That's kind of what I did... I don't know. With my Mako especially, I mean, I absolutely loved my Mako, and I genuinely miss having my Mako, which is why I'm so tempted to buy a teal Mako.
Teal Mako.
Like, I genuinely miss it, and if I would have listened to the people that said, like, don't buy a Mako, like, wait for a Vortex, I probably would have not been as interested in flipping, because at that point, that was already, my Arctic was getting, like, fucked from me dropping it so hard, and I fixed my Arctic, by the way. Shout out to me. I was gonna say shout out to Glider,
no,
but
shout out you.
I was gonna say shout out to Glider, but also shout out to Glider, but the Arctic is now back in fully working order. But anyways, if I would have waited, my Arctic would have been at the point where I couldn't really flip it, and I would have just gotten bored. I would have just been like, I'm just gonna do something else, and I probably would have dropped the hobby altogether. And buying my Mako not only like helped ignite my flair for flipping again, because it was a new balisong that I really enjoyed. It also kind of like helped me learn like what I liked in balisongs more, because the Mako was lighter, but it was also a little bit smaller. So I was like, okay, I like the weight, I don't like the size. So like, there's no point waiting like 3 months to find out what my preferences are when I can try something now and use that as a stepping stone. Maybe if I didn't even... Like, I got rid of the Mako. I don't have the Mako anymore. I used it as, like, a stepping stone to figure out what I did like. And having to wait 3 months between every stepping stone, it's going to take you years to walk a mile. But if you're just, like, trying things as you get them, like, hey, I think this is interesting, let me try something that's available, you learn what you like much faster.
Yeah, and then, given this is a small community that, still unfortunately has a number of like pretty permanent stop gaps in terms of the growth, because balisongs are illegal in so many places. Like, that's where I'm for. Even with balisongs that I've given, perhaps, some people would say too harsh of flack for, like the one Alien, which we recently reviewed, which I hosted that review. I think my thoughts
great review
on that are more positive than they were whenever we filmed that review. I think I was very frustrated with the tolerance issues with with the Alien whenever we filmed it. I think I'm more positive toward it now that I fixed all of that. But even stuff like that, it's like if I had to choose between somebody that came to me genuinely interested in balisongs, and they wanted to get a good flipper, but say they didn't have a lot of money, I'm not going to tell them, oh yeah, wait 3 months for this. It's just like, you know what? If you only got $50 to spend, you know what? The one Falcon, the one Alien, you know what? Yep, that's the one to get. Go for it. Because if that gets them into the community and keeps them in the community and adds to the community in some way, because in my opinion, anybody that's in the community has something to say, whether it's good or bad, that can do a lot for the community in terms of giving perspective on various things. And so, that's where I'm just a huge advocate of not putting up, it's gatekeeping at the end of the day of like, oh, you should only get this
Yeah.
product or only do this or only do that. But yeah, whenever I've had people tell me, oh, just get this balisong, it's $800 and you'll have to wait 6 months. It's like, what? Huh? What?
Yeah, like
What?
sure, I would love to if it was handed to me right now, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's
I don't know.
my spiel. I'm curious to see what people watching this think, because it's such a, as we all continue to grow our balisong collections, I think we'll kind of get naturally more out of touch with like a standard consumer. Like if we're balisong content creators, like that's where like I ingest a ton of like tech YouTube, like smartphone stuff and gaming stuff and everything like that. And if I watch somebody reviewing a retro gaming emulator handheld, it's like I can trust their opinion in terms of their expertise and all that, but in terms of like what they prefer, this or that, a lot of that could be exaggerated because like they have 40 different handheld emulators or like smartphones.
Yeah.
Like, somebody that's actively changing the main smartphone they use every 2 weeks. Meanwhile, the standard consumer is generally holding onto a phone for like 2 to 4 years on average.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a different ball game. And I'm glad we have so many options and everything, and more people are making balisongs that are increasingly available. Again, like if MachineWise can meet up to any potential expectation that he's set of being able to release a bunch of relatively affordable balisongs that aren't going to take months and months to create and ship and everything like that. Like, if we continue to move in that direction, I think that'll continue to help make the balisong community grow a lot. And so that's where I don't want to deter people from looking at those makers that do take a long time, because there's some incredible stuff that just will never be able to be mass produced because it's so handmade.
NRB.
And that stuff is worth looking at for sure. But yeah.
Yeah. It's a good summary.
Guys, we made it nearly 2 hours with only one awkward silence.
That's
That was
true.
great.
That is true.
I was
waiting for someone to jump in.
yeah.
Yeah. I think we all were. We were just
one-
like, okay, who's saying it?
Yeah, I was gonna say something next. No, but yeah, I think especially with just more people making more things and the rise of 3D printed balisongs, which the barrier for entry for is significantly lower. I think we're just gonna get more stuff that's more interesting, and we're going to have by this time next year, we're gonna have probably, like right now, the big players in 3D printed balisongs. We have Zippy, and then we have Tay Flipper. We have the anglers from Kanto.
May they rest in peace.
And may they rest in peace because they're gone now. And that's kind of it in terms of like really good ones, I should say. But this time next year, I guarantee there'll be like 10 more names on that list. And that is very cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it
very
goes.
excited. Well, I think back to, we mentioned MachineWise a lot, and obviously we all have a lot of great feelings about MachineWise. I'm so bummed, Ethan, that you weren't. I'm so curious to know what you would have thought of the Marin Light, because you never got to flip a Marin Light, did you?
I'm so curious what he would have gotten to think too.
I try not to bring this up because I don't want to rub it in. Like, I don't want to be like, oh yeah, you remember this knife that you really miss and it's gone now and you're sad about it? I really wanted to try that thing.
Oh.
Yeah, it was great.
It-
But so the reason I
Bring
brought
home
that up,
number 39.
trauma aside, the reason I brought that up is I look back at, so like Will and I, we released our MachineWise Delta 50 review in January of 2021, and barely a year and a half later, MachineWise went from kind of making a balisong that was very interesting but definitely very weird, went from that to now making Will's favorite balisong of all time. And it's like, if we continued, and that's in barely a year and a half. So if we continue at that kind of trajectory, or even half of that with a ton of different makers, like, slowly refining their processes and making more of their stuff available, I think that's going to make for a very, very interesting development in a number of key areas that I think is really exciting. Because I like flipping. It's a great thing. It's a great fidget toy, essentially, at the end of the day. And for somebody that's
awesome.
relatively anxious like me, and maybe has a splash of ADHD somewhere. I'm not diagnosed, but people have told me, like, there's a little bit in there. Like, it's great.
I am the opposite. I am very, very ADHD heavy, and then a splash of anxiety. So it's like, Brandon, we're like two different flavors of the same cocktail.
I am an introverted person that can be very extroverted, is what I've found.
Same.
I'm very good at being extroverted, but I am very introverted at the end of the day. But no, being able to just sit and just flip, it's great. And it's an interesting talking point. People talk or ask me about it all the time. I've never felt cooler opening a box, just whipping out a live blade balisong and just whoop. It feels cool.
I have yet to experience that. I can't wait.
Oh, yeah, you gotta do it. It's great. It's the best. It's totally overkill.
I almost did it when we opened up the shirts, but there was a freaking pull tab.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Maybe we should boycott shipping companies and make them stop adding pull tabs and tell them to make us have to cut it, is my stance, I guess.
Well, no, let's boycott them and tell them to stop stealing our shit.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Shout out UPS.
That would be dope.
That would be awesome.
Apparently, UPS had a few other issues. Somebody lost like $200 worth of replicant parts straight out of their UPS package. Because my biggest thing with figuring out like if it was UPS or if it got scammed, the one thing that didn't make sense was that they still shipped me the package.
Yes.
And everyone else who I've seen like having issues with UPS is the same thing. They shipped them an empty package.
Well, and let me jump
nothing
in
ever
here.
happened.
Sorry, but the other thing that doesn't make sense to me is that he shipped it out through USPS.
No, he clarified. No, he did go to a UPS store. He thought it was a USPS store.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
He texted me afterwards. Me and him have been talking this entire time. A lot of people think it was completely radio silent, but no. We've been working together to figure this shit out the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And he clarified very quickly. He was like, yo, my mistake. I did ship it out with a UPS store. I thought it was something else. So yeah, UPS, the one and only time I've ever had something shipped to them, it has gotten taken, and I am not happy about it because it was my personal, like, grail. Yeah. It wasn't money-wise grail, but it was my personal, like, precious
Now that they're
child.
discontinued, it was a money-wise grail.
Now that they're gone.
Yeah.
I'm so pissed about it.
I've seen them sell for like $450, $500.
And like Machine Wise is cool and all, but I'm not good enough like friends with him. I'm not friends with him at all, but I'm not to the point with him where he would actually like do something about it. So basically at this point I'm just kind of,
well, to be fair, you're getting the engraving.
Yeah.
You're doing something.
But yeah, it is nice of him to do that. I'm not also entirely sure if he's going to do that. He said he would be willing to, but I'm not sure if he's going to hold true to that or not. We'll see. We'll find out. But like, it's tough to know that my Marin Light, unless the person who stole it puts it up on balisong sale, which is not very likely, that thing is just gone. It's just gone forever. And that is such a pain. That was my gift for moving down here to myself.
Yeah.
I bought it the first day we started driving down to Florida. I was like, this is it. I'm moving. I get a cool ass knife. This is the life. And I fucking lost it. It's gone. I hate it. That pisses me off.
It's one of the main reasons I don't think I'm ever going to ship a balisong to anyone ever again, unless it's one I am not particularly like jazzed about or something like that, or I'm sending something like for a sale of some kind or anything like that. And I saw some people say, like, with your whole saga and then the whole thing with the replicant, like, oh, just insure it and get your money back. But like the process of actually getting your money back is really difficult. You have to prove a bunch of stuff. And it takes a long time. So it's definitely not as simple as, oh, you should have just insured it. or
I don't
whatever.
even want my money back because I can't rebuy my Marin that was serialized to my number.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about it.
I just shipped out my Nautilus like 2 days ago to the person that I sold it to. I didn't even insure it because like it's not worth it. If it doesn't arrive to him, I'll give him his money back and then I'll deal with it. It's not worth going through that process.
Yeah. And for this kind of reason, or these kinds of reasons, I hope that the Prisma sticks around for a while. Same thing with the Seraph.
Yeah.
Because like with Machine Wise, like obviously they can only produce so many balisongs, literally 2 people. I actually had a member of our Discord community. He got kind of flamed on a little bit, but had brought up, or we were talking about Machine Wise and various different companies. We were talking about the One as well, because I was talking about like cloning and a bunch of different things. And the guy said, I don't know. I don't think Machine Wise can be considered a small balisong maker anymore. His stuff is like some of the most coveted balisongs like of all time. And the other Machine Wise employee, one of 2, chimed in and was like, literally 2 people, my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's literally 2 guys.
Yeah. But like I hope that sticks around because like, you know, I love the Prisma so much, and I hope that that's able to be kind of a mainstay Machine Wise product for the foreseeable future. And that's something that actually affects whenever Will and I make a review of something, is we really, it's a tightrope to walk because videos take a long time to make. Like we're talking, you know, I would say on average, editing a review takes at least 20 to 30 hours. And then shooting the reviews takes a full day. Doing the B-roll for the reviews takes like half a day. Like it's a lot of work, and that's not including doing thumbnails and distribution and all that kind of stuff. And so we only have so many videos that we can make and pump out. And so that's where Will's come to me like, oh, hey, I want to review this particular balisong. And I look at it, and there's a little engraving that says 1 of 6. I'm like, this is really cool and unique, and I think it's like worth talking about in some way, but making like a full dedicated review on something that like almost nobody can buy, like unless it's like a really, really, really interesting talking point that it like presents, like say like with the Bally scissors, there was 5 of them ever made, but it's like, but this is such a unique thing. How can we not talk about it? But if it's just like a guy that made a balisong that like it's pretty cool. It has like a relatively unique design, but it's not necessarily like some game changer kind of thing. It's like, I don't know that we should really put the effort into a full review on something that almost nobody can buy. Yeah. And that's what's kind of a bummer about some of the previous reviews we've done is those balisongs just aren't being made anymore. Or we'll have made there was one that we made a review on, and then 2 months later, the person wasn't making balisongs anymore. It was just, well, crap. Damn.
Yeah, the Arctic.
Well,
didn't you guys release the Arctic review the day they announced the Antarctic? Or something like that? The day they released it or something?
Really close to it, yeah. And now Arctics are just kind of up in the air, and I know the price is most likely going to increase compared to what it was, and they haven't made any in months.
My boy.
I know.
My boy.
Yeah, so that's just kind of that's just kind of the name of the game and everything. But it definitely affects like what we want to be or what we want to review, and what we want to talk about. Thankfully, Will has his second channel now, which just hit 10,000 subscribers, which is cool.
I saw that.
Congrats to him.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's very cool. Very excited for that. And so he has that channel now where he can make like a quick like review where he just talks about it like pretty casually. He's done that for a few balisongs that we've deemed like, I don't think we have time to do a review of that with everything else on our plate, but you can make a Will Hirsch Flips video about it.
That's what we plan to do with the Blade Bias channel, is exactly stuff like that, where it's like, hey, I have X knife that I'm getting to mess with for the next hour and a half. Let me talk about it quickly.
Tape flipper.
Tape flipper, yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's what you're going to do with my tape. I'll probably do a cycloid video on that.
Hell yeah.
Kind of that thing. So yeah.
Well, I think
like
I'm out of topics for now.
Content. Yeah.
I was going to say, we're at 2 hours.
Yeah.
I think that's probably, you guys got a special video this week. If you're still watching, thank you.
Thank you for sticking around.
Yes, thank you for sticking around. Brandon, thank you for being on.
Yeah, thank you so much,
That
guys.
was amazing.
I'm very happy to be here. Very glad that you guys are adding to the community. I don't think I'm not aware of any real balisong podcasts that have like stuck around in any major way. So this kind of stuff is really cool. Getting to be able to casually talk about all this kind of stuff is really great. So having you guys kind of push the boundaries and everything is really cool. So I'm very grateful.
Hell yeah.
I get to be the first guest.
Let's go.
We did it.
First
And
guest,
Audacity
and
is still
probably-
recording.
Let's go.
Yes,
Yeah.
and probably the first recurring guest.
Major W.
Honestly, I hope to
Yeah.
be. Like, yeah, even
I think we can. I
popping
think we
in
can
for a quick
confirm
thing.
we'll have him on again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have you on again.
I'd love
When
to
you
do
go
that,
for
like
2 hours,
yeah.
you have to have him on again.
Well, and I'd love to have like a post Blade show thing where we talk about
Oh,
our
yeah.
experiences. I think there should definitely
yeah.
be one for just you guys. But having some kind of thing where potentially having Will on as well to talk about, because we'll definitely have a lot of shared experiences and all that as we continue to develop this stuff. I'm excited to keep doing it. But yeah, I guess
That'd be awesome.
what's the podcast thing
Swag.
that people have to do? I guess I have to shill my stuff. So yeah,
Yep.
The Will
Please
Hirsch or just Will Hirsch YouTube channel. That's where we make all of our stuff. I don't have my own channel, but have a ton of reviews I've hosted. We have so much content on there that's really great, very chaotic, very weird, and it's a good time. My Instagram is at the Brandon Baker. I don't make a lot of actual Instagram like posts on there, but I'm pretty active.
You
on
make
my
some
story.
fire stories though.
Usually whenever I have something to post, it's like definitely worth posting. And I do my best to respond to people that message me and everything like that. Just don't be weird or make death threats like I had one guy unironically make the other day, which was fun. It wasn't a pipe bomb. I would prefer the pipe bomb. So yeah, maybe.
Oh
don't
yeah,
do that.
you did just get a death
The
threat.
pipe
like
bomb
an
is
hour
like
ago.
a funny haha comedy because realistically, I'm not gonna fucking mail you a pipe bomb.
that we know of.
that we know of. Stay tuned next week.
Ty.
Stay tuned.
The next podcast
Will
I'm
Hirsch
on.
Flips video is literally just called "I received a pipe bomb," and it's like the thumbnail is just him holding a fucking bomb in his hand.
Cheap pipe bomb unboxing reaction.
Amazon pipe bomb unboxing.
But no, thank you very much, guys, for having me on. We had some good conversations, and I'm excited for you guys to keep doing this. The hardest thing I found with a lot of content creation is you get like really invested in it for like 6 months to a year, and then it's tough, especially when you don't have like a major audience and all that. But it seems like you guys are having fun with it. I know I'm having a lot of fun with it. There are various times that I mess up saying a certain thing or maybe have a hot take about something, but I really try to make fun stuff and be as genuine as I can. And it seems like you guys are doing that too, and that's really, really cool to see, because we all know there are various members of the community that aren't exactly a spark of hope. But I hope that we can continue to do that and just be positive people that make cool stuff.
This is completely off topic. Well, not kind of, but I'm laughing at, there was this one time, it was I looked at my search history, right? And the two things right next to each other, I don't even know if I could say this. The two things that were right next to each other was, what is the address of the White House and how to make a pipe bomb. They were for completely unrelated reasons, but it was funny. It was funny as hell.
All right, guys. Well, so the Blade Bias podcast is canceled because one of the members was arrested for.
Literally.
Oh, hey, the Blade
Threatening.
Bias podcast. You guys are the guys that threaten your guests every time they're on, aren't you? Yeah, I know you.
I mean, that's a unique.
I feel like Joe Rogan
take.
does that too.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you're right.
walking away. I'm done.
I feel like that's a common podcast thing, is to just threaten your guests.
There we go. That can be your stick. As I said, positivity is what we need more of.
Yep.
So
Positivity.
let's threaten our guests.
Pushing the boundaries.
But your default humor is either killing something, blowing something up, or like just lighting it on fire.
It
Some
is.
kind of death.
I'm guilty. Various people in my life, they know that's my default. But I promise I'm a positive person at the end of the day.
I hardly know our jokes.
Yeah, that's unfortunately entered my vernacular. Thankfully, I finally have somebody combating that, because Will and I make those jokes all the time, but my girlfriend has now taken it upon herself to memorize a crap ton of dad jokes. And
Let's
so
go.
every time I make a hardly knower joke, she will just dish out this incredible dad joke that is just
That's
awful and just makes you question everything, but it's perfect. So it's made me both excited and terrified to make the jokes that I do, and it's fantastic.
That's sick. That's awesome. So, all right, I think it's time we
After
wrap
the
up.
longest wrap up and outro in YouTube podcast history.
That's pretty standard
thank
for us,
you.
though. Generally, our
standard.
goodbyes are like, all right, well, yeah, I got to get going, guys, and then 45 minutes go by, and then
Or an
we're like,
hour,
okay,
2
well, I really got to
hours.
go, and then a half hour goes by.
Yeah. But all right, we gotta end this. Thank you, Brennan, for coming on. We really appreciate it, and giving your thoughts and opinions on things. We'll
Thank you.
definitely see you again soon around here. You'll be on a few more episodes, I can almost guarantee. And then, of course, at Blade Show, be gaming, be hanging out.
It's gonna be great. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be so fun. I'm very hyped for it. Check your mailbox in 5 to 8 business days, and a very special package for you.
It sounds so ominous. It sounds.
I almost
enjoyable
feel like you
ominous.
should. I almost feel like you should cut it at that. Like that should be the end
Yeah.
of the podcast. I don't even
Enjoy the next
respond. It's
24
just
hours.
bloop. We're done. Bye.
Yes. No, for real though. Thank you everyone for watching. If you managed to stick around this long, thank you very, very much. We appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to both of us, me and Ethan, in the description, but also Brandon. Well, I guess Will's channel, but their endeavors. Shout out to both of them. You guys are great. So, yeah.
Yes, and these guys
Fun
make
episode.
great stuff. Check it out. They're both. It's great.
Thank you.
It's positive stuff. It's great. It's well made. You guys are awesome.
We filmed the Tay Flipper review, which is probably some of the crispiest shots we've gotten in a while. So, it's gonna be nice. All right. Thank you everyone for sticking around. We'll see you all again, hopefully, very soon.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye-bye.